Wow. This is a good size knife, isn't it? The Zonda, Petrified Fish Zonda. Oh, okay. Right hand, left hand. Yeah, carry. So that's cool. Black G10. You know you can get this in a wood handle as well. See that? Yeah, wooden handle. Interesting, but it is a good size knife. It is 14C. Get 10% off. Go on to Petrified Fish. Yes, and of course they're also carried by White Mountain Knives, so you can get 10% off there too. LTK discount code for most everything on their site. There are some exceptions, by the way. But this, whew, it's very inexpensive knife, and their designs are always very intriguing. You know, you never know what they're going to come out with next. There's your design flow and blade to handle length. Looks good, all that. Wow, that's interesting that they did that. Jimping here on top. Of course, ambidextrous thumb studs. Easy to kick it open. There you go. Now it'll drop just on its own weight, won't it? And just like that. Just falls backwards like this. Just you keep moving the handle and the blade just drops in. Got some standoffs in here. Looks pretty sturdy. And you know what? This is no lightweight. This is not a gent carry. And it's skeletonized in here, but those are some big old steel, thick steel liners there. Wow. Kicks open. Yes, plenty of room for your hand. Big old blade. I think this thing is 3 3/4 inch blade. Yeah, it is. 3 3/4, what, 96.7, something like that, millimeter, and then 8.5 overall, which is kind of weird. 21.5. You'd think it'd be more like, well, no, 8.5. You'd think it'd be, well, 8.5 is pretty good, pretty efficient for a 3 3/4 inch blade, come to think of it. So, yeah, that's making good use of what you got. And there's your lockup. That's 20%. Not much more than that, though. Whew. Ergos are fine. First finger here, the rest of them, plenty of room. You know what? I can feel that pocket clip, though. I can. Right here. See, it goes up, but it don't straighten out, that kind of thing. So it's not my favorite type of pocket clip design. I'm sure that sticking up like this, it'll go right over your lip of your pocket. But if you're doing stuff for any great length of time, this, depending on where this falls on your hand, it may be in a crease and you don't feel it that much, or it might be somewhere else that you do feel. And who is the designer? You know, I don't know. I guess I need to put it across the screen here if I can find that out. I didn't explore the page enough to remember who the designer was. Obviously it is somebody. It's a collaborative on here. And wow, kind of a leaf shape blade of 14C. And speaking of blade, okay, I don't feel any problems, nicks or anything on this, and it slices right through the paper, so it's got a good factory edge on it. Wow, how fat is this dog? 14.6 at 0.57, so not 0.6 of an inch, but that's a pretty good handful at 0.57. Right, and see if we can get this blade right in here. 0.13, 3.4 millimeter. Okay, so relatively stout blade stock, and then the handle itself is not like 0.45 or, you know, that kind of thing. It's 5.57, so that's a little bit thicker in the hand, and so there's a lot to hold on to here, that's for sure. And then with this jimping up here, you got it. You got a little cutaway here so you can strop and sharpen without getting too intrusive on there. But wow, fit and finish is fine on these. It feels good in the hand. And yeah, I mean, I don't feel any gotchas or nicks or anything. You know what? Let's close this up. Where's that blade coming on there? You know, I don't think the blade's that close. It doesn't look like it is. No, it's not. So, okay. Yeah, we got a pretty good distance between the blade and the standoff, so I don't think we got any worry about anything hitting anywhere. And let's look at this. So we've got, okay, so there's our stop. All right. And then this back it again, hitting the other side of this. So, okay, both ways. All right, what do we got here? We got a box, and that's where the knife came in. This is, you know, and that was the first thing when I pulled this out and I go, okay, there's a cover plate here, but you know when this thing is curved, you go, you can't take a curved because it's gonna curve this way. Okay, you need it to do the opposite, so you have to have another pocket clip. There you go. So there it is for the other side. Seen that all the time on cold steel knives, right? That are curved, and they have a lot of them that are. And then extra hardware, a whole crap load full of it. And what's this, the plate for the other side? Yeah, it looks like it. What's that? Yep, that's the plate for the other side. Okay, so you got to do that because that plate's not going to fit over here because of that. So there's that. There's the other pocket clip. There's the plastic that it goes into. You get all that with this Zonda. So, you know, this really feels like kind of a heavy-duty carry knife, you know, that's you'd use for some pretty rugged chores. I mean, you know, you got plenty of blade on this thing, and it's pretty corrosion resistant. I think, wasn't the 14C28N kind of developed for Kershaw back in the day? They were doing a lot of 1227, right? And so they went to a 1428, right? But this is, yeah, so it's even used in some cutlery, kitchen cutlery, right? So, I mean, it's good. Wipe the blade off, but I think it'll hold up against corrosion pretty well. But it's a stone washy here. This is kind of interesting. Don't particularly understand why, but I mean, maybe it was just a nice little design detail to put on there. Whew. Yeah, I'll bet it's what, more than 2 ounces. What do you bet? Just kind of wondering. 5.7. It's not 6 ounces, but 5.7. Okay, so it's got some weight on it. 161 grams. Yeah, sure enough. So there's that. Get that off. Feels good though. Flicks open pretty nicely. Open design, so easy to keep clean. Comes with ceramic bearings. And yes, they make so many different knives. If you've never had a petrified fish knife, you're about 4 or 5 years kind of late to the party, but you can go back and look at a lot of the different models they made. I don't love everything they do, so I kind of hold off for certain ones, but this one seems very intriguing. Kind of maybe like it might be some kind of an ethnic inspired design, right? So, yeah. But if you want a big knife, whew, that's definitely that. And with the 3.5 millimeter thick blade steel, yeah, you're good. You're good here. All right. They didn't leave the left-handed guys out on this one anyhow. So there's the Zonda. Check it out. Links below, and stay sharp.